Hello everyone. In this video we will discuss about the poem The Solitary River. But before discussing about the poem The Solitary River, we must know about a little introduction of the poet William Wordsworth. So now we will talk about the William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was born in the year 1770, and in 1787 he proceeded to the university where he joined St. John's College, Cambridge, but he made no mark there. Like many other young men of his time, he was also filled with enthusiasm for the French Revolution. In 1797, he became acquainted with Coleridge, and in 1798 appeared the famous volume of poems entitled Lyrical Ballads. It contained poems of Coleridge and Wordsworth both. For some time he resided at Grimsmere, then he moved to Allenbank in 1808. There also lived or visited Southey, Coleridge, Dickens and Wilson. All these poets formed what he reviewers called the Lake School's poets. In 1813, Wordsworth settled at Rydal Mount, which continued to his residence until his death. He held for some time the office of distributor of stamps for the country of Westmoreland. In 1843, he was made poet laureate, and he is the greatest poet of nature in the English language. His most famous poems are The Excursion, The Prelude, Ode on the Intimation of Immortality, and Sonnets. The Solitary River is one of his most famous short poems. Now we will discuss about the theme of the poem. In 1803, Wordsworth had a tour of Highland being. Being a lover of nature, he was fascinated by the scenery and innocent people of the area. Once he saw a girl in the field. She was alone. She was reaping and singing simultaneously. He was charmed by the melody of her song. This poem is the result of his experiences during his journey. He composed this poem in 1805. It was published in 1807. The poem is characterized by romantic images, sweet music, melancholy atmosphere, and simplicity and sweetness of verse. The poem is remarkable for the far-reaching quality of poetic Scotland with his sister Dorothy in August 1803. As Dorothy Wordsworth notes in her diary, such solitary women reaping in remote fields were often encountered by them. About the song of the solitary girls, he says that we passed a female who was reaping alone. She sang as she bended over the sickle, the sweetest human voice I ever heard. Her strains were tenderly melancholy and felt delicious long after they were heard no more. So dear students, this was the brief introduction of the poet and theme of the poem. Now we explain one by one line of the poem. So come on the poem. Behold her single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself. Stop here or gently pass. Alone she cuts and binds the grain, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the well profound is overflowing with the sounds. In these lines, the poet sees a highland girl. She is all alone in her field. She is reaping. She is singing a song. Its sweetness thrills the poet. The girl is singing and working all alone. She seems to be pouring her heart. The poet looks at the Highland girl who is standing all alone in the field. She is cutting the corn and singing by herself, reaping and singing by herself. Stop here or gentle pass. And he addresses her sister, his sister Dorothy Wordsworth, and says that stop here and listen this girl gently. Alone she cuts and binds the grain and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the well profound is overflowing with this sound. And he says his sister that to stop here and listen to her music and quietly pass without disturbing her in her song. He forbids to make any noise while walking. He forbids to disturb in her singing lest she should stop singing. The poet makes an earnest request to listen to her sweet song. The whole valley seems to be flooded with her sweet enchanting music. Now we explain the second stanza of the poem. No nightingale did ever chant more welcome notes to weary bands of travels in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice is so thrilling, never was heard. In springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the siege among the father hybrids. No nightingale did ever chat. Here in these lines, the poet want to say that whenever when he sees the girl, the Highland girls, and listen her songs, he thinks that he never heard this type of sound, which is more melancholy and touch his heart. The Highland, he said that the music of the solitary girls is more sweetly than the music of the nightingale. More welcome notes to weary winds of travels in subshady haunts among Arabian sands. And he says that in the Arabian deserts there are oases where tired travels rest and the nightingale sings. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the siege among the further hybrids. And the poet says that in such magical surroundings, the music of the nightingale is sweet, but the music of the solitary reaper is sweeter. A cuckoo song singing in the silent seas near the Hebrides Island is not so sweet as this girl's music. The music of the nightingale and the cuckoo appears inferior to the girl's singing. Will no one tell me what she sings? Now we will explain next stanza. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive number flow for all unhappy far off things and battles long ago, or is it some more humble lay? Or is it some more humble lay, familiar matter of today, some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been and may be again. In this stanza, the poet says that the girl's song sounds sweeter to the poets than a nightingale song sung to travels resting in an oasis in the deserts of Arabia. The girl is singing in her native tongue, Gaelic. The poet can't understand its meaning and work. He wants to know what she is singing about. He guesses that possibly the solitary reaper is singing of some old unhappy far off things or some battles fought in ancient times. Or perhaps her song is about some commonplace sad events of everyday occurrence. It may be that she is singing about some sorrow, loss or pain which occurred in the past and may happen again in future. Here in these lines, the poet guesses that the songs which is sung by which is singing by the girl is related to maybe battles which was fought in the ancient age, and maybe it is related to the incident or sad incident related to sad loss, pain and suffering of the common occurrence. Next stanza, whatever the theme, the maiden song, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her walk, and over the sickle bending, I listened, motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more. In these lines, the poet says, whenever the poet couldn't understand the meaning, the theme of the girl's songs, he says, whatever the subject matter of her song, she went on singing as if her song would never finish. I saw her singing at her walk and over the sickle bending, and poet says that she was bending and reaping the corn with her sickle. The poet stood silent listening to her music. Then he climbed up, and as I mounted up the hill, music in my heart I bore long after it was heard no more. In this line, the poet says that when he when I climbed up the hill, when the girl stopped her music, still his heart was hearing that music long after his ears were unable to hear it. He carried the music in his memory. The effect of the Highland Girls' songs on Wordsworth was great and long lasting. So, so, students, in this poem, the poet describes his experience is very common. His experience during his journey with his sister Dorothy Wordsworth. He tells us the same thing in his sonnet Daffodils. The poet seeks imaginative delight in recollecting the music of the girl in moments of silence at home. Thank you so much, guys.